Okay, I can't show all of this because it's obviously copyright and I am a live streamer, so I can't selectively edit clips in a way that gets me around the DMCA guidelines of YouTube. But I wanted to talk about something that's left a lot of people rather upset, and I there's a reason for it. I promise it's not just because I'm interested in the media or have watched the media, because I haven't. I have not seen My Adventures with Superman. I want to, but I haven't seen it yet. I've only seen one clip, and it's this one clip people are upset about. So, My Adventures with Superman got a lot of traction early on for one major reason, okay? And the major reason it got a lot of traction is because it has a hot tomboy is the term, that's right, GF Lois Lane. Everyone's been freaking out over her. I've seen nonstop thirst posting. I swear to God, you give a bitch a short haircut and everyone loses their mind. But I think she's cute. They're both cute. They're all cute, frankly. But people are losing their mind over her. That's great. Plap, 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 etc. So people are hot. People are horny. Whatever. Great. That's fantastic. You know, I haven't seen the show, but an episode came out recently. People are upset. Okay, people are declaring jihad against Lois Lane. They've been firebombing the studio that made this cartoon. Those are both lies. They're just upset online. So here's why. It's a clip. I can't play the clip. You crazy? It would take like 2 seconds of this playing with audio to DMCA me. Are you kidding me? But I can click through it. So basically, this scene has happened in many Superman stories before. It's not new. Lois Lane is confident that Clark Kent is Superman. But Clark Kent won't admit it because he's concerned that she would out it because she's a journalist, right? So basically he's like, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. And she's like, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So Lois Lane does what Lois Lanes love to do, which is kills herself. No, she jumps off the building so that he'll save her. There it is. Okay. So right off the bat, this left some people feeling weird, which is strange to me because Lois Lane does this in like every adaptation. Seriously, like every story with Lois Lane, she does something. She's crazy. She does something. Lois Lane. A lot of people. Okay, sorry. I have to. Lois Lane is insane. This is a consistent character trait of hers. Okay, she's insane. There are so many adaptations where one of her primary. A lot of people treat this like a crazy woman moment. I actually really don't like that. It's consistent with her character. It's not a woman thing. It's just she's crazy for the scoop. She's a journalist, right? Whatever. Okay, you know. So some people thought that was weird, but then people get real upsetty spaghetti because Lois gets upset with Superman, saying, "Oh, you betrayed me. You lied to me. You didn't say you were Superman." Superman is like, well, I did this to protect you because you would have outed the story, and if you outed the story, it would have put you in danger because we worked together, blah, blah. But she's upset. Upsetty spaghetti, fake drama. Does anyone remember this happening in Invincible? You remember Invincible, the cartoon? Right. Similar setup that you have going on. The main character is a superhero, very strong, very cool. He's got a, can I say it, smoking baddie of a GF. I think that's fair. But then he reveals that he's a superhero, and she gets upset because he was lying to her. Because as is always the case with superheroes, you know, he would like show up late for a date, and he'd be like, "Sorry, there was a homeless guy in the subway who was being really crazy, blocked up everything." And in reality, he was like saving the world on the other side of the planet. You know, it's been known to happen. Weirdly, in Invincible, in the comic, I mean, the Invincible comic, which is about yay tall, real big, very very big. In the original, and I've read the comic. I've read the Invincible comic. In the original, the girlfriend is she's white, by the way, woke agenda. Am I right? But also, she thinks it's awesome that her boyfriend is a superhero. Like her reaction is, "Oh, my boyfriend's a superhero. That's awesome. I thought you were a drug dealer. I thought that's why you were showing up late to our dates." Uh, people got really up in arms about this back when the Invincible TV show aired. Here's a comparison. People are really mad online. I swear I'm getting to a point with all this. It's a very salient point. Ameliorate, 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 okay? So in the comic, the white, non-woke girlfriend says, "You really aren't a drug dealer." He says, "You're really going to have to elaborate on that drug dealer thing. I'm confused." She says, "My boyfriend's a superhero." He says, "Looks that way," and she smiles. That's nice. And in the TV show, she packs her stuff and leaves because she doesn't like having been lied to. I think this was a bad change, personally. I think that a lot of people think they're doing this like female empowerment bit when the women like confront the guy, but what it actually always reads off to me is them being irrational, self-interested, and really short-sighted. If your actual response to somebody saying, "Yeah, I was busy because I've been saving the world and I didn't tell you because I thought it would put your life at risk," is "Wow, goodbye," then I think that's a bit of a woman moment, a little bit in the public eye, a little bit stereotypically public to woman, maybe a little bit of a moment of women. I don't like that. I don't think that's true. Also, I think most women, if they found out that their boyfriend was a superhero, they would just ask him to do stuff like pick her up during sex and jackhammer her harder, but not too hard, because Invincible is really strong, so he would kill her. But like harder than he was already. Yeah, and they did it again with Lois Lane. I don't think it was bad of Lois Lane to jump off the building. I think that was based in Red Pill personally. But her being, I can't show the clip, guys. I can't show the clip. I'm just showing you this frame of the video. But her being like indignant and betrayed after people, after learning that Clark Kent was not being forthcoming about being Superman, I think it's dumb. So, all right. 3 main things that I want to say with all of this. First of all, people are way overreacting. Seriously, look up Lois Lane on Twitter right now. There are a bunch of guys who are like burning their Lois Lane tomboy love pillows. They're like torching their little like closet shrines that they've built to her and her short haircut. They're throwing the wigs they've personally sculpted out of the remains of the victims out the window into the river. People are losing their shit. But I've actually noticed this happen a lot in media where women or a woman get really popular really quick, which is it's this crazy roller coaster ride where all you have to do to get legions of lonely guys to stan you is be hot in a slightly unconventional way. And if you ever fuck up even a little, as a real character or as a fictitious one, people will completely lose their shit. You know what I mean? So I want to frame this the way I frame everything, which is completely nonsensical hypotheticals, all right? I want you to imagine, if you will, a woman. And she really likes Clark Kent. Or Superman, whatever, the guy, she likes him. Now, don't you like him? Don't you like him? Look at him, first of all, okay? He's 7 feet tall. As far as I'm concerned, all right, Lois Lane and Jimmy over here are 5'6", and he's 7 feet tall. So, hey, that's pretty cool. What is a woman? If you asked Clark what a woman was, he'd say somebody shorter than him. He's great, right? Imagine somebody falling for him. Now, imagine legions of internet ladies falling for him, okay? Now, imagine that in the narrative of the show, he does something bad. He fucks up. He makes a mistake. He does something irrational. He, in some way, acts somewhat out of character in a negative fashion. This might just be me because I'm completely making all of this up with nothing but conjecture and no evidence or even any examples to pull from. But in my opinion, I feel like the behavior of the legions of women who like him would be less psychotic than the way I've been seeing guys act about Lois Lane, where there's been this immediate like anti-feminist bent where it's like, women are so fucking irrational. Why don't they understand men are doing the right thing for them? Like this huge pivot on them. You know what I mean? I don't like that. I think it speaks in a way to the kind of unhumanity with which a lot of people treat women, real or fictitious, where they're beautiful stars of light if they do well, but if they make a mistake, then they're wretched, they're disgusting. People have tendencies to treat lots of people like this, but I think a lot of guys treat a lot of girls like that, and it's nasty. I don't like that. I don't like what she did in the show. As someone who hasn't watched the show, I just don't like that little bit. But I also don't like the reaction to it. I also wanted to bring up another example of this trope being handled a lot better. Unfortunately, it's also something that I could effortlessly show you guys if I had the ability to show copyrighted material, but I can't. So, that's the end of the discussion, basically. It's from Superman 2. Actually, it's from an alternate version of Superman 2. In Superman 2, the released version that was in the theaters, Lois Lane finds out that Clark Kent is Superman because he falls on a fire or something. They're on a retreat at the Niagara Falls together, and he stumbles into the fire in some fashion. And then she's like, "Wow, you sure aren't burnt." And then he's like, "Ah, well, that's because I'm a god." Yeah. In the alternate version, which was not in the theatrical version, that's this one. This is the alternate version. Something a lot cleverer happens, and this has always been my favorite scene with Lois Lane, even though it wasn't officially released. And, I mean, this movie came out like a decade before I was born, so I'm not, like, it's not nostalgia. It's just a really good scene that I can't show you. But here's Clark Kent, okay? You can tell he's Clark Kent and not Superman because his hair is done like this. He doesn't have the spit curl and he's got glasses on. Don't pay attention to his giant frame in his scene and so on. Link, then? Find it yourself, you vultures. Okay, so basically what happens is this. All right, Lois Lane, that's Lois Lane, by the way, absolutely convinced that he's Superman, okay? She is dead convinced, all right? And in order to prove it, she's going to make him dead convinced. With a gun. Yeah, she whips out a piece, and Clark Kent's like, "Oh, don't blast me with your gun blaster! Don't, bang!" And of course, he's not hurt. And then he takes off his glasses and he puffs up his chest, and he's like, if I really was, if you were wrong and I really was just Clark Kent, you would have really hurt him. And she says, with a blank, and wiggles the gun. And it's actually really clever because she gambled on Superman being strong enough that he wouldn't even tell if a bullet hit him relative to a blank. Now, obviously, in real life, you shouldn't fire a blank right at someone either. But in the context of the movie, basically, she tricks him in a smarter way than Lois Lane did in the My Adventures with Superman cartoon. If Lois Lane had been wrong in the cartoon, she would have died. She would have fallen off the building and splatted against the ground. In this, she comes out on top either way. If he's Superman, then, well, he gets outed, and if he's not, then Clark gets a scare. And the Lois Lane in the Superman movies, the ones from the 80s, love spooking Clark Kent. It's actually a really cute dynamic where she's girl bossing her way through. They would hate her today because she's like so girl boss feminism, but always getting saved by Superman. People, that's her character. That's her. This is a consistent element of her. But she's always bullying Clark Kent, which it's great. They're good movies. Superman 1 and 2, mostly 1. Superman 1 and parts of Superman 2 are good movies. And I like that a lot more. I don't know. There's something. I don't think there's anything wrong or not feminist about Lois Lane being a character who's always getting saved by Superman, because the way it's usually presented is that Lois Lane initially gets saved a lot because she's reckless. Not stupid, but she's an investigative journalist. It's a cartoon world. There's lots of supervillainy, and she's always getting in trouble skulking around corporate laboratories or military installations, and Superman saves her. And eventually she gets so used to being saved that she basically just relies on it. She's basically invulnerable. There was a scene I really, really enjoyed from the Warner Brothers Superman cartoon. I watched this growing up as a kid, like in the mornings, where there was one scene where Lois Lane gets caught by a criminal organization. She's like scoping them out, and she gets caught. And one of the goons is like, "Wait, shit, is that Lois Lane? The broad Superman always saves." And then he bursts in through the wall and fucking kills all of them. Or something. I don't remember exactly what he did. I'm sure he murdered all of them and their families, I'm sure. But I like the dynamic. I don't know. Lois Lane is kind of a strange character, isn't she? Superman is kind of a strange character. Superman's been done wrong so many times and right just a few, I feel. And Lois Lane maybe even fewer times than that. And yeah, I don't know. Earlier in the movie, doesn't Lois Lane do the jumping off a building bit? No, in the first Superman movie, she doesn't jump off a building. She falls off of it because she's riding a helicopter to the landing pad on top of the building, and it fucks up, and she ends up hanging from the edge and gets saved by Superman. Yeah, no, to be clear, I'm not dissing the new cartoon or the show or anything. I'm only saying that I feel like I want more attention and care paid to the characters in a superhero story that aren't the superheroes. That's what I think. One of the best graphic novels ever is Kingdom Come, which is a story which is complicated and unnecessary for me to completely retell, but basically the primary character of the story is a human man who's asked to make a lot of moral judgments about superheroes. And I think that it's... Okay. My real argument is that the Lois Lane in this cartoon is hot. I think she's hot and cute, and I like her. That's my real argument. And that's the only point I was trying to get at the entire time. That's what she looks like, and I think she's cute. I like the shape of her head, and I think her haircut is very flattering, and I think it's cute that she's 1/3 the size of Superman. I think that's cute personally. I think that size differences are cute in either direction because I'm woke, and I think she's cute. And that's my position. Morally. How did it work out in the Snyder films? I'm not watching the Snyder films.